Well, all right. The Legend of Ruby Sunday. You don't get any Legend of Ruby Sunday at all, really. You do. The Doctor and Ruby try to figure out who her mother was and all this. They go to Unit at Avengers Tower, and once again, the TARDIS flies in there when it could just materialize, but yeah. So anyway, the Doctor pops out, and he's happy to see everybody. Yay! And Kate's there, and then Mel shows up, and Donna's trans daughter has gotten a job there. I can't remember if they established that or not, but anyway, not Jason, but Rose. Rose is there, yeah. So the Doctor's decided, hey, I need to figure out who this mysterious woman is who keeps showing up everywhere I go. So yeah, he noticed that, you know. And also, hey, what's the deal with Ruby anyway? So turns out Unit has developed their own holodeck that can view different points in time. They can't travel there, but they can see it. So they do this, but the Doctor says there's still danger, so you got to remain perfectly still as we observe what happened in front of the church where, you know, baby Ruby was left. And then there's scenes from the Christmas episode, which I have yet to see, if I ever will. But apparently the Doctor did travel back there, and you see him running around. At the moment, this mysterious cloaked woman leaves the baby. Well, they can't get a good look at her, but one of the Unit soldier guys is there, and they're trying to see something behind where the Doctor's TARDIS had landed back then. And there's something mysterious there. And, because the cloaked woman actually points to it. And the guy is saying, I'm going to take a look. And then the Doctor had said this was dangerous, but then he's okay that it happens. Yeah, take a look, see what you can see. So, of course, it gets the guy killed. Yeah. So, but it's okay because the Doctor punches a wall later out of frustration, you know. Yeah, but at least there was this one scene where Kate Stewart looks at him like, what the hell? You know? But, yeah. So, in that era, the woman Susan is her name. And so, could this be Susan, the Doctor's granddaughter? So, there's two things here. There's Ruby's story, which they could follow up on. Is there a connection there? Susan has been mentioned earlier. And Susan is an element that I always thought should have been something returned to or addressed. Or never at all. And now it looks like never at all would have been better, because considering the hands Doctor Who is in and has been in for quite a while now, it's whatever they do, it won't be any good. I always thought Susan was a detail that could explain why the Doctor left Gallifrey. But then once you do that, the mystery for the most part is no more. Although so much has been answered anyway, I don't know, but nevertheless, you're thinking, oh, good Lord, is this woman who this is and all of that? And her name is Susan. And then they begin to realize she runs a tech company and she's announcing a big whoop-de-doo, an announcement of whatever she's rolling. Didn't really pay attention. But the name of her company, Triad, and they realized with Sue Triad, they said, oh, you flip the letters around and it spells TARDIS. So, that's a clue, isn't it? And then meanwhile, there's some dark force coming upon the world. And Ruby's mom leaves this lady behind at home to look over her mother. And suddenly this woman turns very sinister and appears to be aware of what's afoot. And ultimately, the big bad that's revealed is Sutek. Because, once again, if you move the letters around, because it's Susan, she runs a tech company. Get it? Now, so he said, oh, it was Sutek all along. Well, this Susan woman didn't seem to be aware of any of this. And so I suppose it stands to reason maybe they still are going to pursue the Susan, Foreman story, and that she was possessed by Sutek, who clearly has this ability to do it. He possesses another woman there at unit when he arrives, and all that sort of stuff. So and he did it deliberately to stick it to the Doctor and all that. So last time you saw Sutek was way back in Tom Baker's era, where he sent him spiraling into the time vortex for all eternity, I thought, until he finally died. But he was an immortal god and all this. Although back then, everything was science fiction based. So he was worshipped as a god and stuff like that. But it was one of these old tropes where, well, a superior alien race was seen as godlike to, ancient Egyptians and whatnot, as to what Sutek was, and that he had been imprisoned by his fellow gods who were now long gone, and he was looking to escape his prison. Well, he did, but then the Doctor managed to get the drop on him and, time looped him into the vortex, and he was like, no! And so, well, he escaped and all that, and these things happen throughout Doctor Who. There's quite a few villains and monsters who are recurring all the time. So the idea that Sutek could have returned, you finagle some way that he escaped that trap the Doctor put him in. And so here he is wanting revenge and all that. But also that he's one of the many gods that Russell is toying with here, initially with the toy maker and then Maestro. And ultimately, I think, what's the legend of Ruby Sunday? She's one of the gods. That's what it is. She may be Sutek's daughter. Or she may be Susan's daughter. Because one of the episodes, she was scanned by the crazy ambulances, and it detected her as 3,000 years old. Now, granted, they were in the future, but I don't know. That's so there's something about Susan. Yeah. I mean, Ruby. There's also something about Susan. So was that her in the cloak, as the mother giving up her child and that sort of thing? Possibly. But then again, nothing will be answered at all. Just don't care. And so there's elements here in better hands, in better circumstances, might have been sort of interesting. And that's fine and dandy, but the show's so trashed and ruined, it doesn't really matter. And it's just, Ncuti just doesn't really have it, or he's not written to have it. I mean, he's either jumping around, which the other New Who doctors have done, when it's all bombastic and all that stuff, or he's crying. I mean, he just, Niagara falls out of his eyes all the time, and that sort of thing. And he's constantly needing to be hugged, and because he's infantilized and stuff like that. So, whatever. So there's too much stupid to grasp upon any of this. And after the damage done even before this era happened, it really doesn't matter if there would have been a good episode. And so far, there hasn't been one. Jodie's era, there was a couple there that just weren't that bad. Would have been better with a better Doctor, but just weren't that bad. And that was about it. The rest were crap. And this is not even trying, really. And to be fair, they didn't really try all that hard with Jodie either. But here, it's really just slap job stuff, So it's a two-parter, so there's that. It ends on a cliffhanger with Sutek's arrival. So, oh no, now what? Which I always thought most of these New Who shows should be two-parters, so you can at least get the old classic feel of a cliffhanger, But anyway, that's that. Sutek doesn't look anything like the one from the old show. He's just got of course, he may be more of a spiritual thing now. I don't know. But he had a dog's head, you know. Just give him some treats, let him fetch something, rub his belly, and then he'll be happy and you're good. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? I am a good... Oh, yeah, they did get someone to do the voice that sounds pretty close to how he sounded in the old show. So, there's that. But, I don't know, maybe it's AI or something. But whatever, it did sound kind of like him, So there's that. Yeah.